Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nikki Vo, and I'm your host. I'm a boat owner, a marinas owner, an international conference presenter, and a huge advocate for boating. I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I am here with a gentleman I recently became friends with, and he's a fabulous man and he has a fabulous company. So I'm really excited to share this one with you. Vasco Buonpensiere of Cantiere, delle Marche, CEO and co-founder. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
And we're all going to love his accent all the way through, aren't we? So that's really good. Vasco, tell me, I know you fell in love with boating as a child, but unusually it wasn't because of your parents, was it? Most people fall in love because of their parents are boating. For you, it was different. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's still something I'm investigating. I mean, my parents were absolutely not into it. Probably they've never been on a boat. But since I was very, very little, I was attracted definitely by the sea, but I was really attracted by boats. And my parents still remember, and that's a story I always tell, that when we were going on holidays in the summer, they used to walk close to a marina or a port, etc., and I would try to grab them and bring them there, and they would leave me for hours sitting on the dock and just looking at the boats or trying to make knots and doing these things. So nobody understands where it came from, and it's always been my thing in the family. Then I shared with my brother. We started windsurfing very in the early ages of windsurfing, 1979. So that's the only thing we were sharing in the family. But we still don't understand how. But it's been always very strong, very strong. It's unbelievable. Everything was driven by that. My mother still remembers that I was in the bed and I used like a broomstick.
Yeah.
And with a rope, I tied that at the end of the bed. I was pretending that it was the tiller. And and tucking from one side to the other of the bed. Yeah. But the reason why, we still don't know.
That's incredible, isn't it? So it was almost like an instinct for you.
Yeah, yes, absolutely so.
Yeah. And you got into sailing, right?
Yes, absolutely. I started very, very early on the beach. I was going to each and every person with a sailboat, like Flying Juniors, Lasers, or whatever. And I would ask to go with them or to use it like that. And so I started sailing like this. I'm a self-learner.
Yes.
I self-taught myself. And it's always been about sailing. Then, 1979, I discovered windsurfing.
Yes. And
I got caught by windsurfing. We didn't have enough money for two windsurfs, so we were sharing, myself and my brother, the only we had, still with the teak wishbone, etc. And we were spending hours and hours with every kind of weather. And when it was his shift, I was in the water because outside it was too cold, waiting for him, and hours and hours. And then we started traveling because of windsurfing, trying to find more waves, more wind. And so I took a break from sailing. And then I went back to sailing because in the early 80s, mid 80s, we started using very short boards we used to call sinkers.
Yep.
So we were needing wind and wind and wind. In our era, there was no wind. So I started being frustrated and I went back sailing on boats.
Yeah, because windsurfers, if you haven't got wind, you can't go anywhere.
No.
So it's not like sailing. You can't just go slowly.
No, exactly.
Windsurfer just does nothing.
Sailing, you can always do it. So that was the reason why. And I bought, together with a friend of mine, an OB16. And we started on the Adriatic coast, using it as our explorer vessel. We used to sleep underneath the catamaran and boat camping, basically, along the coasts. And I've always loved the adventure part of sailing. So even with the regattas, I did a lot of regattas, but then I slowly shifted to long regattas, double-handed regattas, and all this stuff. For me, I prefer the sailor's world to the sport sailor's world. It's I don't know in English how to express that, but I prefer mariners to regatta guys.
Yes.
Okay, that has always been my word. The boat, and still now. I'm always into long cruising instead of just doing racing around the buoys.
Which makes sense given the type of boat you're building now.
Yeah. But that's exactly the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because this is the closest word to sailing I could find. Yeah. And in the industry, sailing is a very small and difficult market.
Yeah.
Sailors are the most difficult clients you can find.
Well, the wind is free, so why is everything else?
And so, actually, when I started, I thought, okay, I'm going to work into the sailing yacht industry.
Yes.
But at the end, I understood that, and so that's why I started this.
Yes. So, how did your career begin?
I was a lawyer, and I realized that I was actually working day and night, but my goal was having enough money to buy the next boat and go sailing. So one day, that's an interesting story. One day, an American friend of mine, a very good lawyer, and I was quite successful as a lawyer. That made the choice more difficult. Yeah. But I started complaining a lot. I didn't like it. And I started not liking it anymore. Yeah. So a friend of mine, an American friend of mine, said, Vasco, you always say you don't like our job, but you never say what you want to do. And that was the first time I thought about it. And I said, yeah, that's true. I don't like it, but what I would do if not this. And so the process was easy. I started thinking, what do I like? I like sailing. Why do I work? To go sailing. And so let's see. I didn't have any idea about the industry. Yeah. I didn't have any idea. And actually, I was very much attracted by the yacht management, because I started seeing these super yachts. I've never seen one inside in my life up to that day. Those days.
When are we talking here, year-wise?
It was 2000.
Okay.
25 years ago.
Okay.
And I said, yacht management is nice because you actually run a company, because a boat is like a company, the captain is the CEO, and you have a budget. So I like that. Yeah. As a lawyer, I was working a lot I was a corporate lawyer, so I was familiar with a lot of these things. So I decided, and I understood that south of France was the capital of these companies. I didn't know about Camper and Nichols and Fraser. It was everything new for me. Yeah. So I decided, one day I left Bologna, I went to south of France to understand what it was about. And 3 weeks later, I started sending out letters. I'm interested in finding a position as a yacht manager. And they called me to be interviewed. Everywhere I was going, and I went from the biggest companies to the smaller because I didn't really know anything. Yeah. And internet wasn't like today. You know immediately everything about the company you're going, etc. It was a little bit more difficult. Everywhere I was being interviewed, the interview was always ending up like, you know what? You should be a broker, not a yacht manager. And I didn't know what a broker was doing.
Yeah. But so, in your lawyer space, when you were in the mergers and acquisitions space?
No, No, I was in intellectual property and copyright.
Right.
And I had a master degree in intellectual property and copyright of internet.
Gotcha.
Which in Italy, nobody not even knew what was. And that's why I was successful, because I was one of the very few. I had no competition. That was easy. And so I started saying, okay, that's nice. Interesting. Brokers, fine. There was an online course for brokers made someone from Fort Lauderdale. And I have to admit, I've never thought I'm going to go for the course, but the way it was depicting the broker's life, which was now I know unreal, was really attractive to me, And so, okay, I liked 3 companies, and I went for another interview as a broker into a very little company in Saint-Tropez, because I said, listen, I didn't like the atmosphere I got from the big British companies.
Yes.
This was a very little company run by a super smart and a very good friend of mine now, a Dutch guy in Saint-Tropez. So my thought process was, if I have to quit as a lawyer and I'm going to work into the yachting industry because I like sailing, I want to change my life, let's do it in Saint-Tropez. Okay.
Yeah.
Saint-Tropez is beautiful.
Interesting that you picked Saint-Tropez, not Italy.
No, well, in Italy, the brokerage industry level is not as good as you can find in south of France. They're all small brokerage companies for small boats. It's different.
Yeah.
I was teaching at university. I was a very successful lawyer. I didn't want to dive down
into a certain level, right? Yeah. You got to start at the top.
I wanted. So I met this guy, and his history was fantastic. A great windsurfer, a self-made man, very pragmatic, very Dutch, and I really liked him and the way he was running his company and the Dutch attitude, because I understood that, and he taught me. Actually, I always pay tribute to him whenever I have a success, because he taught me how to trim my Italianity. He taught me to say no if it's a no. Italians, they always say, we'll try.
Yes.
No, and normally you would say that, or you would say yes, and then you will find the way to make it happen. He taught me to be very much more straightforward with people, taught me a different way of looking at things. So those 2 years were really, really important for me, and he taught me a lot about boats. So it was a small company, successful. We've been sales office for Royal Danship, a shipyard founded in those years. And then it went chapter 11 a few years later. And so that's it. And then from there, it was easier.
Yeah.
No, it's not true.
No,
no,
not that easier, has it?
More and more difficult.
So you've started in brokerage.
Yeah.
You're selling boat. What sort of level of boats are we talking?
I've never sold a boat less than 80 feet. So always from 80 feet onward.
Okay. And so you're dealing with a certain level of clients, but you're brokering boats of a particular brand or a whole bunch of ranges?
No,
or
every kind of boat. I also sold that was a Swan 80, the Swan 80 number 1. So every kind of boat. And but that company, our central listing were mainly steel boats,
yes,
displacement boats, round stern, old Benettis and things like that. And I really like that.
Okay.
I immediately understood that the displacement word was more appropriate for me than the plastic, fantastic, planning white boats.
Because we're going back to the whole, well, with the sailing heritage, you appreciate a hull to move in a certain way, right?
Correct.
And as a person that enjoys the exploration of it, rather than the just sitting on it with a glass of champagne,
correct,
is again that sort of space, isn't it? Because those boats can go anywhere for an incredible amount of time, so that gives you that. That's exactly
that. Even the kind of client is different.
Yes.
And I like to work with people I I click with, I get along with. And so the typical, I sold a Princess V65. Okay, but the typical planning, hull, open boat kind of client, probably they also find me not the right match because I don't understand in full their world.
And why they're going for that sort of boating.
Correct.
Yeah.
Even after my brokerage experience there and then in Monaco, when I started at CRN and Custom Line said the displacement, semi-displacement boats and the planning line. In the beginning, I was all focused on all those boats, but then I had a very good junior salesman, and the planning boat, you deal with that. I was already told it was Vasco, come, the client needs, you deal with that.
Because we have to be passionate about something we're selling, right? You can't sell something that you don't believe in.
No.
So that's actually a really important point, that you immediately went in a direction that you felt comfortable with, that you were okay talking about, that you understood the enjoyment that comes from that.
I think it's very important. I think it's fundamental is, but this is, we all know that following a passion, doing something that you really like. It's that. And then, now my son is starting his career and I told him, listen, if you want to work at the shipyard, it's fine. He's actually a very good salesman. But I think it's better if you start working in other shipyards and then in a brokerage house or the other way around. And then you decide, because I want him to do something he really feels the right thing. Not, it's easy. I mean, the shipyard, my father is one of the owners of the shipyard now. Because to me, my life so dramatically changed since I quit as a lawyer. And I don't remember one day, and I'm saying the truth, I don't remember one day that going to the office and say, oh, Mamma mia, I don't want to go there. No, I don't remember it. It's always, for me, it's fun, even it is really difficult. Running a shipyard is really difficult.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying my son to do the same.
Yeah. So when did you move from brokerage to, I know Cantiere delle Marche started in 2010, right?
Yeah.
But when did that transition occur, and how did it occur for you?
In 2004, I was working in Monaco as a broker for a company which I actually reopened. It was closed. I sold the boat, an open 50 knots boat, 80 feet, to a client who introduced to me to a gentleman who used to own a brokerage company in Monaco, but then his son didn't want to keep on going and he closed it. And he said, you're so good that you need to meet this guy because I'm sure he will fall in love with you and he will give you an opportunity. And that happened. Now the company is called Moravia. We set it up and I started there. And I started not liking the brokerage arena. That wasn't something that was matching my likings. And one day I was waiting for a client in Beaulieu to see a Benetti 90 something. It was raining. I went there as usual. I used always to go at least 3-4 hours before to set up the boat, to speak with the captain, to check things out, etc. So I arrived there early in the morning. I did all what I had to do. Then 1 hour, 2 hours late, 3 hours late, the client, I was sending SMS at that time. It wasn't answering, etc., etc. After like 5-6 hours, I called him again and he answered. And I said, listen, I'm here. Where are you? And he said, no, I just decided not to come. And I said, sorry, why didn't you let me know? I was here. And he said something like, listen, if you want to sell something to me, don't tell me what I have to do. And I said, okay. In Italian, I said something really rude. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not ready to bend my back to sell something. And I made a call to a very good friend of mine who was at that time the president and CEO of CRN. And I said, listen, Lamberto, I want to quit. I don't want to be a broker anymore. That's not my place. can we have a talk? And he was very experienced in the yachting industry, and you guide me through this and let me know, what do you think? What could I do? Because I was anyway still new in the industry. It was like 4 years. And so he said, oh, that's easy. You come, and I need a sales manager. He knew that I was very much into steel boats, etc., for CRN. Because they bought CRN, Ferretti Group bought CRN in 2000. So we need to sell metal boats, blah, blah, blah. And so I went, and I started. After 6 months, I took the place of the sales director, and I became also sales director of Custom Line, and then sales director and brand manager of both, and then only of CRN, because the success of CRN was so big at that time. It was happy years. They couldn't keep up with both. And and that's where I understood that the shipyard was my place, because that I can sell, but I don't like to be focused only on the contract. I like to be focused on the boat and whatever is around the boat, and building it, designing it, and accompanying the client through the process, and that's how I started working in the shipyards. Okay. That went on and on until 2010.
Yeah, because that is a really exciting part of delivering a boat for a client, isn't it? That whole process of going through the design with them and getting them the boat they really, really want.
We had a launch a few months ago, and we had a lot of launches this year, so I was running out of ideas of what to say in my speech. So I normally always improvise. Yeah. And so it's unbelievable what your mind can do. And I said something which now I understand. It's a perfect way to describe that. I said to the workers, I said, listen, guys, we've gone through such a hectic period. Unbelievable. We sold 12 boats in 12 months. We're delivering this year. This year we delivered the 6 boats, which is normally we deliver 4. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. It's one of the hardest job you can find in the world. I know, but there's something, because I see your faces, there's something that makes me think it's like having a baby. You're very happy thinking about it, and okay, let's have a baby. Then you have, the mother has 9 months of ups and downs. Then you have the baby, and the effort is humongous. And when he's 2 years old, you start saying, why I did it? But luckily there's a mechanism, and then you feel the need of another one.
Yes.
So that's exactly the same. You build a boat, you say, no, I'm gonna work in the post office. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. But then when it happens, the moment you see the face of the owner, yeah, taking delivery of the boat. Yes. I have goosebumps now saying it. That is the moment where you say it was worth it. Yeah. And the owner hugging or shaking hands and smiling to the workers. That's the moment they say it was worth. You forget about how hard it is. Yeah. In these days, my kids, one is that one. They're here. They're 20 and 22, so it's much easier now. And I would do it again, probably, if I wouldn't be sold. And boating is like this. So the delivering the boat to a client and making it happy. And I tell you more, the secret of our shipyard, having worked everywhere, somewhere else, and looking at the industry, normally, and in these days with a lot of finance world into the shipyards, private equity funds, etc., etc.
Equity funds owning the boat builders, yeah.
They put the Excel file in the center,
yes,
then the boat, and then the client. Okay, so the center is the Excel file, around the Excel file the boat, because the boat is going to come out of the shipyard depending on the numbers. And then let's see how the client reacts. I'm doing it like the old days.
Yeah, you're doing
the client in the center.
Yeah.
If you listen to the client, you want to make the client happy, the boat is going to be good, and it's going to be the right one. And if the boat is going to be the right one, the client is going to be happy, the numbers are going to be good. And this is something that the industry is losing. And I think one of the reasons why we're having this success, we have so many repeat clients, because they feel it. Because myself and Ennio, we're ready to say, okay, let's do it, even if it costs 30, 50, 60,000 euros, if we think that is good for the boat. Ennio is the president and the co-founder with me. He's the founder of the company. He started welding at 14, so he knows how to build a boat, etc. He goes on board every day, and he comes back, and he doesn't make the CFO happy, saying, you know what, let's put a pneumatic seal around that door, because there's the risk that door will whistle if there's strong wind, etc. How much it costs? 25,000. The boat must have it. That's the way we do it. And that's also why I wanted to fund my shipyard.
So you founded your Cantiere delle Marche with your partner, Ennio, in 2010.
Yeah.
And
when the other shipyards were going bankrupt.
Yes, that was and what's interesting is we founded our brokerage at our marina at that time as well. And if you do it well, it's actually a good time to do it.
Of course.
Everybody else is sort of floundering a bit and suffering a bit and focused on that. Whereas if you're a new company starting up, you just go, well, here we go. And
that's exactly
it. So that's an interesting time to start, but I think a good time to start. So you've started a company that is focused on steel boats. You're focused on explorer boats. I know you, as you've been in brokerage a long time at this point, you would find the frustration of, because some new boats that come to market, the owners then kind of, for some unknown reason, accept for the next 6 months, they're going to have to find all the little niggles that go wrong, and they're going to have to fix those. I know that was a really big focus for you, for this brand, for that not to happen. Am I right?
That's absolutely right. That's something that whoever doesn't know about the yachting industry is shocking.
Yeah.
So the fact that people say, okay, I know that the first year I'm going to have problems. Okay. On one hand, I understand that, because these are very complex things. Okay,
incredibly complex.
So here we have 15 kilometers of cables. Okay, how many things can go wrong just with that?
Yeah.
Okay, 100,000 drawings and this and that. So they're very complex. Things can happen, and happen also on our boat. It's not that we never have one faulty thing. Absolutely not. But our focus was, if you look, the typical example is when you buy a plane, you don't say, okay, I'm going to fall a couple of times, and then, but after that, we're going to fix everything and it's going to be good. No, my car didn't break and I crashed against the wall, but I know, it's only 2 months. So nobody say that. Okay. In the yachting industry, you have people that cannot use the bathrooms and they adapt. The problem is the car is 200,000 euros. That is 12, 20, 30 million euros. So that was, and that was the most important thing about this subject, is that the partnership with Ennio was crucial, because Ennio was building very complex boats, chemical tankers, ethylene carriers. They can explode anytime. So when we were talking, I said, Ennio, everything can go wrong on a boat like that. And he said something that is still our mantra. He said, the reliability of a boat depends on how easy it is to maintain it properly.
True. Very true.
So you've seen our engine rooms. They are no nonsense, spacious. Everything is reachable without having to dismount something to get there. So first of all, you see a problem when it happens. Okay, if you have a leak, etc., etc. Second of all, a problem that you can see, you can fix it during navigation. But most of all, you don't wait to do your maintenance routine because it's easy. Many times on a lot with planning boats, because they have big engines and crampy engine rooms, the captain, the chief engineer would say, you know what, we have to do that. We will do it in 2 weeks' time when we're going to be stopping in that marina for 3 weeks. On these boats, okay, let's do it during navigation.
Yeah.
When possible. So we worked a lot on that. We started conceiving our boats from the engine room and the simplicity of the systems and the reliability of those. The quality of the components is crucial too. In a production boat shipyard or in a shipyard run by the Excel file, you would compare those two screws. That screw costs less, I would buy that. You would compare the subcontractors, I would go with the cheaper one. They are all electricians, they're all painters, so no. So we focused on that, and that's also why, that's another key fact of Cantiere delle Marche when we started, as we had to choose on a make or buy strategy, on a buy, meaning subcontracting, because in Italy, when you hire someone, you can't fire him anymore. So if the market slows down, unless it's your financial situation is completely compromised, it's a problem. And subcontracting and quality, they don't always come together. And there's a very specific reason. The worker has no pride. I don't want to say that every worker has no pride, but, we're doing something for someone who we've never even met, And so what we did was we spinned off from the very good companies, painting, electrician, etc., the best young guys. We said, we back you up, set up your own company. We grant you work for every 3 boats, etc., etc., of course, with certain KPIs in order to make sure that we're doing the good job. Yeah. These guys, they still work with us. We are 70 direct workers, employees. Some of these companies, they almost have the same number of hours, and they still work only for us.
Interesting.
And these guys, when they, Christmas, the party is with them, with the subcontractors. We know them by name. Okay, when there's a new worker, they come and say, we hired him. So we created a very positive mechanism. When they buy their personalized clothings, with the name of the company, etc., without us asking them, they put the CDM logo on it.
Yeah.
So we were really focused on quality from the roots in every single step we did. And that's also why the first boat show we did, I still remember, the boat show before we had in the boat, I was going from the Ferretti Group grandeur with a team of 13 people. I've 2 walking with a bag of renderings and begging to listen to me. And I remember with Ennio, I said, one day, can you imagine if we will have one of our boats beside Moonen? Because Moonen was at that time was really an aristocratic brand for boat lovers, and I'm still a great brand. Yeah. And the first boat was quite ugly, red. I tell you something. When we launched the boat inside the CRN shipyard, when the boat arrived there to be launched, the president is also a very good friend of mine. He called me and said, Vasco, when do you think you're sending the bow? It's already there. Sorry, I didn't notice. It wasn't nice. And we had, and I'm saying absolutely the truth, you can cross-check in the industry. We had a queue of people from the industry coming to see the engine room and the paint job.
Really?
The paint job was amazing and the engine room was amazing.
Yeah.
One only problem, we're so focused in the engine room and the technical side of it, that the interiors were probably the ugliest ever in the boating industry. Not that year, okay? In the boating industry history. And but it was nice. It was really nice because we could see that people by word of mouth were saying, go and see that engine room, go and see what they're doing. But nobody was worried because the boat was so ugly. They said, okay, we're not selling engine rooms here. We're selling boats and beautiful design boats. Yeah. In fact, these guys are Italian. Yeah. Are they Italian? We're sure. That's true. But actually, captains and surveyors became our best brokers, between brackets, not in the time that we're paying them, because they were dreaming. Yeah. The chief engineers, they were coming and pushing the owners, come and see the boat, come and see. And the owners were coming and say, no, thank you. But anyway, we started selling. The first year we sold one boat every 3 months.
Okay.
Which for a brand new shipyard, building ugly boats. Building ugly boats, talking about the explorer vessels. Nobody, what is an explorer vessel?
What is that?
Okay, it was quite successful.
Yeah,
and since then it's been like that. And the attention to quality, intrinsic quality. You know, one of the things we always do when we come on board, we open the exterior cabinets to show how we build the doors of them, from a solid piece of aluminum, CNC. Then this is I have to pay the greatest respect to Ennio for that, because he is the one who's really into it and who really understands what's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And so forth. So that has been key.
Yes. Yeah.
People, they got it, but they didn't. There's an Italian break. Yeah. And I think that has been perceived immediately. I remember one client, owner of a Moonen, 94. He said, this industry was needing someone like you guys.
Yeah.
Doing what you're doing. And actually, after a few months, he's been one of the first clients. We sold him Darwin 107, which, by the way, just finished the circumnavigation of the world. And he said it's refreshing to see that the industry is all going towards what I call real estate yachting. No, yes. So they build a house and then they see if it floats.
Yes.
But beautiful houses. So he said they're all. Yachting is you build a boat and then you try to make it inside as nice as possible.
Yes.
But first you have to build all them. And he was very, he was a British man owning a Dutch boat, very dry. And he was starting looking at the new boat and he was seeing this beautiful, too much glass. He was saying, they're transparent boats nowadays. Yeah. It was, and so he said, seeing an Italian company doing this. So this quality-driven approach has paid off.
Yeah. And now, to make up for the ugliness, you have some amazing designers that you work with, I know.
Yeah.
That make it look Italian as well.
At the end, at the very end, so everything I can tell you.
I should make a point to our listeners at this point. The boats are now absolutely stunning, like ridiculously gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
So that ugliness at the beginning is certainly nowhere near where they are now. So you really must come and see them at the shows.
No, I there was a turning point, and I like to identify in my life turning points.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the turning point, then you understand how it happened, and you can make other things happen. And so I perfectly remember. It was the 12th boat we were building, okay? It was a Nota Air 108, the first one. Mexican client, a man with a lot of good taste, a lot of technical knowledge. So it was perfect for that, meaning it's the only client I've been with in a meeting with the generator makers, okay? So it was really technical. He knew a lot. But at the same time was highly sophisticated in terms of style and knowledge of the good brands and et cetera, et cetera. And so the boat name is and was Narvalo. And he raised the bar and he said, guys, there's no way. He owned a Sunseeker before. There's no way. I want your boat because the quality, the technical side of it, I'm stoked. But there's no way I'm going to buy it unless you grant me that you can do a beautiful Italian-styled boat. And so he raised the bar. We wanted to sell him that boat. The Mexican client market has always been great for us. And that was the beginning. And so thanks to him, we started also thinking, we didn't have an interior design department in the shipyard, just to give you an idea. So, no, we had the ex-head of the purchase office. One day I'm going to tell you really how it unfolded, But yeah, the head of the interior department has been also chief of the purchase office. So we created interior department, and with him, and I always thank him for that. That was really the turning point. And actually, that year we won the best interior design award at the World Super Yacht Awards organized by Boat International.
Hell of a turnaround.
So from the ugliest boat in the world, I'm going to show you the pictures because it's more than what you're expecting. Now you're expecting a boat which is not nice. No, I'm talking about, and luckily I know that the owner doesn't speak English, so he will never listen to this. But it was really ugly. He was happy. We won the best interior award, but it tells you something, which also I think says a lot about our approach. Yeah. We tend to be something in between naive and real. We are in that area. We obviously didn't expect to win, okay? Yeah. But the boat was finalist. So, wow. It was in Florence. So we went to Florence, and obviously we had to tell the owner, so you're finalist. And he said, I'm going to come. No, we're not going to win. But anyway, and he said, Vasco, please, if we win, don't call me on stage because I don't want people to know in my country, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Et cetera. No, absolutely. We're very private. So, and the winner is, it was in our boat. I'm sorry, it was a bit deluded, but okay. So Ennio and I, very frustrated. Yeah. We go and smoke. At that time, I was still smoking. We go out and smoke a cigarette. Went out. We had like 3 gin tonics in a row to from this disappointment. And suddenly, a friend of mine who's sales director, was my ex-junior, who's sales director at Autumn, on the stairs, I say, Vasco, they're calling you. You won. And we're like, what? No, and I thought he was pulling our legs. Yeah. And I said, come on. I said, Vasco, they're calling you. So it took like 5 minutes between him calling us and us going into the big hall. And I saw the owner of the boat on stage. Oh, no way. So he prayed us. He said, guys, I don't want to go. So we were so sure that we weren't the best interior guys that we went out, we had drinks, etc., etc. But actually, it was a special prize from the jury as the best, not in the category, but all the boats who were finalists that year. Wow. Special, not the commendation that usually do in the same category. Yeah. And that was fantastic. The owner of the boat, I let you imagine. You can see the pictures with him like with the face, trying to hide the face behind the prize, etc. But I think I tell you another secret of our today. I feel embarrassed to say it, but we are a successful company. Yeah. Of our success is also we don't take ourselves too seriously. No. We're talking about boats. Yeah. Yeah. You can see
they're
people.
Not a logical decision, are they?
Come on. So we're having fun. Yeah. Okay, we must have fun. Yeah. If you want to be successful in this industry, don't behave like you are a Goldman Sachs top finance. No, we're boaters.
Yeah.
And clients, and we sell things to have fun on, etc. So,
mind you, I have to say, I know you have a client in Australia, and I'm not going to say who they are because I would never do that, but they're one of probably the most respected sailors that we have in Australia, and he's ordered one of your boats.
Yeah.
That says so much to me, because he is the kind of guy that's going to want everything to be absolutely perfect. He's going to want everything to be beautifully engineered. It's going to have to be incredibly efficient, incredibly good at what it does. In the water, it's going to be a beautiful motion, all the rest of it. That tells me where your brand is at.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's incredible that... when I walk around your boats, it's just insane, the quality. And I mean, you even match the patterns on the damn engine floor, don't you? I mean,
Yes.
It's just crazy how well you do it now. But I think that is something that you've brought to market. You've brought to this incredible level of quality, this incredible... And I don't know if our listeners really appreciate what a steel boat brings to you as opposed to a fiberglass. The silence of being on board a steel boat is second. It's just when I've been on a steel boat going through Thailand, for example. So beautiful still waters, and all you can see and hear is the air. There's no...
Sometimes
beautiful.
We're putting a lot of efforts to the soundproofing of the boat. Probably you've noticed even the doors, they have a flap which folds down when you close the door. So to seal that little gap that you normally have between the floor and the door, so that, noise is like water. I always say, it goes, if it finds a hole where to go, it's going to go.
Yeah.
So we'll take really good care of that. Sometimes on these boats, if you are like on the upper deck, or even more if you are on the bow, it's like being on a sailboat. It's a great... That's a joke we always do when the client comes for the first sea trial on his boat. Yeah. We ask him before, should we turn the engine and go? And he would answer yes. And we tell him the engines are already on, the generators are already on, the stabilizers are already on. You can't hear anything. Yeah. It's something where Ennio is really picky when it comes. And even if our boats are already very silent, we keep on improving. Because that is... And when you explore and you spend a lot... The owner of Maverick, 16 months. Yeah. He has already been on board non-stop. So you need to give comfort to these guys, and we're proud of it, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And I have noticed we're sitting next to a fiberglass. It's a bit smaller, I'll admit, but it's been rocking around like a... And we've been sitting here like we're in an apartment building.
Yeah. Well, it's small. I don't want to. No, yeah. Also the choice of building steel boats, I think in order to give... Let's put it like this. Is something I say to all of my clients. Whatever the boat you're looking at is right, okay? But there are boats for a purpose, boats for another purpose. It depends on what you want to do on the boat. Yesterday, I was with a client. I was saying, from a certain amount of money onwards, I think the owner deserves to step in another league, which doesn't mean that boat, production boat of this or that brand is wrong. Yeah. But from a moment, from a threshold, let's say when you start spending 10 million, 15 million euros,
yeah,
then you deserve to have something, which is not a serial kind of thing.
Yes.
And B, the boat shouldn't limit your cruising.
Yes.
I mean, with one of these boats, you can be in Saint-Tropez in front of Bois Rouge. You can be in Ushuaia, Cape Horn. You can be like Maverick, just went 85th, 86th parallel in Arctica. You can do everything. It's up to you to decide what to do. With other boats, it's the boat which decides what you're going to do. because you have a limit in the range, in the comfort, in reliability to cross oceans or to be in very cold climates, higher, super high latitudes, super low latitudes. So we wanted to give. I answered to an interview a few weeks ago. How would you define an explorer? And I said, the first word that comes to my mind is freedom.
Yes.
An explorer gives you the freedom to decide what to do, and you deserve to do whatever you want to do because you put a lot of efforts and money on these boats.
Yeah.
So explorer means freedom, in my opinion. The freedom to be in Monaco.
Yep.
But to know that one day, if I change my mind, yes, I can do it. So as I'm someone who strongly believe that freedom is important, I think we choose the right thing building these boats.
Yeah. What a wonderful way to end. Thank you so much, Vasco. This has been a wonderful conversation. I knew it would be with you.
No. Thank you. I'm flattered, but it's been a great pleasure. I follow you with a lot of interest and enthusiasm.
Oh,
bravo! You're doing a great job for the industry. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Vasco. He is a wonderful man. They are incredible boats. If you want to know more about these amazing boats in Australia in particular, you need to contact the fantastic Paul Maletta, who is another fantastic man, and Dominic. So they are they're one of the loveliest brokers I've ever dealt with. So they're lovely people. And it's Cantiere, delle Marche, and just look them up. They're worth seeing. Okay, I'll see you on the water soon. Hi everyone, thought I'd just jump in here and say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate you doing so. Please share it with your friends, tell people about it, and give us a review. We'd really appreciate a review. We'd like to know what you'd like to hear about as well. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, Nikki Vo, the Boat Princess, and Instagram at the Boat Princess. If you'd like to get involved in some of our events, then contact us at info@theboatprincess.com or simply sign up for our newsletter at theboatprincess.com. You take care. We'll see you on the water soon. It's lovely to have you here. We appreciate you. The Boat Princess podcast is hosted by Nikki Vo, produced by the Boat Princess Media, and available anywhere you get your podcast.